Fridge Wars, Label Drama. So, my roommate Jake and I have lived together for about 6 months, and up until last week, the only rules we had were about not leaving socks on the kitchen table and not using the blender after midnight. Pretty basic stuff. But last Tuesday, after a particularly disastrous attempt at making fusion lasagna, Jake sat me down and said we needed to have a talk about boundaries, specifically, boundaries involving the fridge. I thought he was going to ask me to stop leaving half-eaten pickles next to his oat milk, but instead, he pulled out a brand new label maker like he was about to host a very boring episode of Extreme Makeover, Fridge Edition. That night, I watched as Jake meticulously labeled every item in the fridge. I'm talking every single thing, leftovers, condiments, even individual eggs. I figured, hey, maybe he's just trying to be organized, or maybe he's seen one too many TikToks about adulting. But the next morning, I went to grab my yogurt, only to discover that every single label said, not yours. Even the ketchup, which Jake hates, and the baking soda, which neither of us has ever touched. I opened the crisper drawer and found a sad little carrot, also labeled not yours. I thought, okay, maybe he was just being dramatic after the lasagna incident. It got weirder. The Brita filter? Not yours. The freezer packs? Not yours. The ice cubes? Not yours. I tried to turn on the fridge light to actually see if my sandwich was still there, and that's when I noticed Jake had labeled the light bulb itself, not yours. At this point, I started to wonder if I was even allowed to look inside, or if I was about to be served an eviction notice by the vegetable drawer. Jake, meanwhile, just grinned at me from across the apartment like some kind of passive-aggressive food goblin. So here I am, eating dry cereal in the dark, because apparently, even the milk is not yours. Next time Jake asks for help unclogging the sink, I'm just going to hand him a sticky note that says, not plunging.